What's up, everybody? It's your boy King Hussle. And yes, it's the best money and credit channel on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe and hit the all notification bell. So whenever I drop new sauce, new lessons, new methods, and giveaways, you'll be the first one to be notified. You'll be the first one to know what's going on. And you might be the first one to win something for free. So make sure you subscribe and hit the all notification bell so you won't miss out on nothing. Also, make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. All you gotta do is click the title on every video. Once you click the title on every video, at the bottom in the description, all my social media links will pop up. All right. Got a lot of fake King Hustle pages out there, so please get a FaceTime verification call or video to make sure you see this face. Make sure you are doing legit business and you are getting what you pay for, right? And before we get anything started, this is all educational purposes only, not telling anybody to do anything. So let's get this thing started. Hey, let's get this thing started. Hey, what to do, my real King Hustle fans, supporters, subscribers out there, my real Hustle Nation Empire family members. And we are back at it again with the gems, back at it again with the sauce, back at it again with the information that's going to turn you into a boss. So you're tired of being a zero? You ready to be a family hero? Listen up, take a seat, get your notepad and get your pen because you already know when I drop these videos and y'all get them notifications, it's going to be some information that's going to help you win. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about these new scams that's been going on in 2026 so far. It's a lot of scams, a lot of new scams, a lot of methods, a lot of updated methods. There's a lot going on in the world. And people are starting to figure out that wherever there is money being made, there's going to be some type of scam or fraud being committed because there's some type of money being produced. So people figure out any way and every way that they possibly can to be able to get over on the system, get over on somebody to be able to receive some type of revenue or funds. Point blank, period. From these businesses to these people, any government, everywhere, anywhere that we look, there's some type of scam, scheme, or fraud being committed. Just how the world operates. Now, there are a lot of new methods, a lot of updated methods that are going on in the world right now that a lot of people are partaking in. Now, ever since COVID-19, the world has been up 600 to 800% in scams and fraud, meaning that a lot of people are starting to commit these type of scams and fraud, because I don't want to keep saying scams and fraud, but a lot of people are starting to commit scams and get into the fraud world because for the past 5-6 years on social media, that's all they've been seeing. A lot of people probably had jobs in the past and probably lost their job. A lot of people are in different situations right now, and there's a lot of people in the world that are in situations where they need money right then and there. And by them being in that situation, they don't have time to go sell some type of narcotic, because when you do that, you got to build a clientele. They don't have time to go sell. They don't might want to sell their body. Like it take a little time to get a job. You got to fill out. They might have just lost their job. So it's a lot of different situations where somebody they need money now. So they've been on social media for the past 6, 7, 8 years, scrolling up and down, seeing all these people flashing hundreds of thousands of dollars, saying, "Oh, this I got it from doing this method, that method, this glitch, that glitch, this sauce, that sauce," and it comes to a point where this is now coming to your head, like, okay, let me go check out that page where they were showing them scams and methods. I need some quick, fast cash. I need to pay this. I need to pay that. I need money now. So it's a lot of people that are getting into this world because they are under the perception that they can do a quick method or do something that can get them a lump sum of cash fast. Now, with this being the real world and real life situations going on, in some cases, in some situations, that information could be true. Some people are doing certain things and certain methods and certain whatever scams and sauce to make them lump sums of cash fast. Fast. Now, with that being said, there are new tactics that these scammers are starting to understand and starting to create. Before, when it came to these bank scams, hackers, hackers are the people who know how to utilize the computers, know how to utilize data systems, know how to get into computers and using IP addresses and DNSs and HTTPs and SOCKs and proxies and all these different things. They're good at coding, right? And then you got your scammers who utilize these methods to do whatever that they do to get cash. So scammers and hackers are two different people. Hackers are more likely going to be the vendor, the person that provides the information to the scammer to go do that method. So hackers are the people that compromise websites, company databases, and things like that, passwords, and so on and so on. And by these hackers being able to get into certain databases and computer systems and things like that, they 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 run something called ransomware. So when they steal a company's database or information, they say, hey, if you don't pay us this amount of money in Bitcoin, we're going to leak this information. Sometimes the company pays it, sometimes it don't. They don't. But it's all valuable information that if it was to leak, it'll cause a problem for that company. So there are sites and there are even people, because at the end of the day, hackers are people. Scammers are people. It's just a title that they have of the things that they're doing. So these are normal people. In some way or form, everybody is a hacker, everybody is a scammer. If the opportunity presented itself to the normal American, they'll take it, especially when it comes to money. Most people find out ways how to get over on some system. Most people want to figure out how to get something for cheaper. Most people want to figure out how to get things for free. This is all some type of form of scamming. So people who run these call centers and work at the banks and work at these dealerships and work at all these places that handle our personal information are in a position to have this information and do whatever that they want to do with it. When we call in the bank and getting help with our accounts and certain things, more than likely they're at the house. They're not at the bank. They don't go into the bank's office every day and work. No, these people work from home. And then they go to the nearest call center for that job and work probably 2 days out the week. I knew somebody that worked at GM Financials, and they worked at home 3 days and worked at the office 2 days. People don't understand that we give our personal information to regular people all day, and then we pay to have our personal information protected from the same people that we're giving it to. So what sense does that make? So we giving it, these people are looking at our information, and then we're paying over here to block it from those people. The government and the way this world is set up is like is meant to people to scam people, and the scams to be out here because everybody's trying to get over on somebody. Companies trying to get over on people. It's just so crazy. So there are places on the dark web that sell this type of information, meaning that there are places that you can go and buy certain banks database information, meaning that you go, let's say you can go and place the Chase Bank. They got Chase Bank database. Everybody who got a bank account, they information, they cell phone number, so on and so on. So then and it's different banks, Chase Banks, BOAs, Bank of America's, or the same thing, Barclays, US Bank, Navy Federal, Penn Fed, so many banks out here, Regis, or so many different banks, right? So they buy whatever that they want to buy. So then they get this OTP bot, and the OTP bot is on the phone password bot. And it's a lot of different places that utilize these bots, Telegram, different places that people find these bots. And since they got this information, they go down the list. So they use that number and say, hey, we're going to call the first person. Send it to the first person a text message, a spoof text. It might say, are you trying to transfer $2,500 type Y or N, yes or no, whatever. And they go be like, what? No. Boom. So then they're going to send another text, our fire department, we can contact with you soon. So then somebody calls within a couple seconds, acting like they're the fraud department for that bank. Now, so they type it in. Boom. They get the text message. So they call and say, hey, act like the fraud department. Now, this is where the scammers are getting more sophisticated. So they understand that if a scammer or a hacker, whoever was to go into somebody's bank account and do it, wire money out of their account, steal money, whatever, that person, the victim, is not responsible for that because they didn't authorize that transaction. They didn't authorize any of that. And sometimes they do that. They take over people's phones, and that's SIM swap. We'll get to that next. And do that. Now, if the scammer can get the victim to authorize these payments, then that's a different ball game. Because if the scammer can get them to authorize it, then the bank is not. The bank doesn't have to pay that person back the money because they authorize the payments. And the bank doesn't know what's going on. Who's to say that that person didn't send that money out and it's a whole scam that they trying to pull on the bank? And that's how they play it. Because if the bank don't got to be at a loss, they not gonna get nobody their money back because they authorized it. Then you got SIM swapping, where a scammer or fraudster will get that list, call that phone carrier, and say, "Hey, blah blah blah, can you transfer my SIM information to this?" And they'll do it. Now that person got all that person's information. Now they logging into certain accounts, utilizing that phone number and getting OTP passwords. That's when they send that one-time password to that phone. They log in, get all this information, change information around, do all this crazy stuff. And they mainly do it in the middle of the night when people are asleep, because if somebody is up during the day and their phone just stopped working, they're going to be alert. But if somebody's asleep and they're going to SOS mode or whatever and it stop working while they sleep, they're not going to be alert and they're not going to know what's happening. So they can easily do that while they sleep and then go about their willy-nilly without any problems, without any alerts. So it's SIM swapping. You got ghost tapping also. Criminals and scammers are also getting people's credit card and debit card information utilizing certain tools. You got the Flipper Zero out here now that's starting to become popular, where a scammer can be 500 feet away and literally pick up your debit or credit card information with that device. And it's not like you just buy it and you can just start. No, you got to have certain hard drives and hard boards and things like that on it to be able to do certain things like that. So in today's video, you know how we rocking, you know how we coming. We got somebody else. A Chase Bank blames a woman for not protecting her account after the scammer stole her money. How can you protect your account when the bank is supposed to do that? Now, don't get me wrong. There are people out here that lack common sense and fall for these type of tricks. But sometimes people got to take accountability. Like, you got to have common sense sometimes to know something fake. So let's see what's going on in this situation right here.
And an important question: could you fall victim to a sophisticated bank scam that begins with a simple text message? The government says scams of all kinds are soaring. Americans reported losing nearly $8.8 billion to fraud last year. That's up 30% from the year before. Our consumer investigative correspondent Anna Warner shows us how scammers stole a staggering sum from one woman's bank account. Anna, good morning. This was a lot of money.
Yeah, good morning. And, you know, we've all gotten those texts from our bank saying, did you make a particular purchase? Well, next time you'll probably want to read it again and think before you respond. And the woman you're about to meet can tell you why.
It's got a lot of cheese on it.
Deborah Moss has spent more than a decade running her small catering business. In 2021, she says she'd finally saved enough money to slow down and move to rural Guerneville, California.
I'm not a young person anymore. I really was relying on just kind of a comfortable life at my age.
But a few weeks after moving in, she says she got a text saying her bank, Chase, wanted to know if she'd approved a $35 debit card charge from another state.
So basically,
So they said they did a $35,000 OTP bot spoof text message or call, and this is a fake text message that a lot of people get. Oh, my bad. I'm over here handling business and people out here doing loads. So people, here, just press play.
it's one of those fraud texts.
That's right.
Did you approve this transaction?
Yeah, that's all it was. Just a minor irritant in my day. And of course I said, no, I don't approve of it.
Then the phone rang, showing Chase Bank as the caller, she says. And on the other end,
Hello, ma'am. This is Miss Barbara from Chase ATM. I'd like to know if it's okay if I give you a new card. And I said, yes.
So that's a spoof call. So that's basically a scammer using the bot that I talked about in the beginning of the video to make the phone call to her and act like they are a representative. Now, the number that they use when they call these people and they say debit card or whatever, they use the number on the back of the cards. Then it's the fraud department number on the back of those cards. So when it pops up, it's the number that's on the back of the card. So they're already under the impression that this is real. Social engineering.
A new debit card. But she says the woman told her before she could issue it, she'd need to verify Moss's identity by sending her a text message and having her read the numbers in the message back to her over the phone.
And
And
I
that's
would
the
just
OTP
repeat those
bot.
numbers to her. And she'd say, that's great. Thank you so much, Miss Moss.
Her new card was supposed to arrive in 1 to 2 days. But Moss says the next day, Ms. Barbara called, saying FedEx was...
No bank will send out a card that fast. It takes at least 5 to 10 business days for a card to come for sure. I didn't order enough cards. And certain banks, they'll let you go down to the bank and pick up the card yourself. And a bank is not going to call you and say nothing about those shipping.
having trouble locating her home, something Moss says wasn't surprising to her since she'd just moved. Over the next week, Ms. Barbara called several times, Moss says, each time saying there was a problem with delivery of the card, and each time asking Moss to verify her identity by reading back the numbers from those text messages. Moss finally decided to go to the nearest bank branch 30 minutes from her home. And it was here, she says, a supervisor told her,
He looks up at me and says, oh no, Deborah, this has been a very active card. As a matter of fact, all the money that you had in there is gone, and you actually owe Chase $895. That's
$895.
that somebody.
See, what they did was they was using her information, calling and trying to log into her account. They sent her a one-time password, and they got the information and got into the account. Easy as that.
Had taken all my money.
nearly $160,000 stolen.
It's a lot of money. Took me 12 years to get that money, and that was my life savings.
It turns out those text messages Moss received, they were real texts sent from Chase Bank, a security measure known as two-factor authentication, used to verify, among other things, wire transfers. But in this case, the scammers tricked Moss into giving them those numbers, allowing them to evade security and wire thousands of dollars from Moss's account
Bypassing
to
the
their own.
security.
6 wire transfers in amounts as high as almost $48,000 in a single week.
I didn't even know what a wire transfer was. I've never done a wire transfer in my whole life.
Chase told Moss to file a police report, then a claim with the bank, which she did. But 5 weeks later, Chase denied her claim and blamed her, writing, "During our review, we found you did not take the appropriate steps to protect your account from theft or unauthorized use."
I thought that was what the bank is for, to protect your money. Like, that's what I'm talking about. See, these banks, the banks don't want to be at fault neither. The banks don't want to lose money neither. So the banks are going to do whatever they got to do to make sure they ain't got to pay you back that money.
Bank officials said they would not reimburse her account.
My world fell apart. My whole world fell apart.
In response to our questions, JP Morgan Chase told us in a statement, unfortunately, when scammers tricked Ms. Moss into sharing her personal confidential information, her account was compromised. But this former federal regulator says of the bank,
any way you look at it, they failed. They failed her.
David Weber teaches forensic accounting at Salisbury University in Maryland and is a certified fraud examiner.
Is that true? The bank could have required her to come in and sign the wire form in person. They left everything for her to be on risk.
They show
and now they're saying
some
they
banks
bear no
don't do that.
responsibility.
What's more, he says, those two-factor text message authentication systems aren't strong enough.
This is happening hundreds and thousands of times a day in the United States using the exact same methods here. The two-factor authentication is not strong enough to protect this customer.
JP Morgan Chase told us each year they invest hundreds of millions of dollars in authentication, risk models, technology, and associate client education to make it harder for scammers to trick customers. But Moss says,
You think of your bank as being someplace that you put your money so that it's safe, but it's not safe. It needs to change.
Hey, bro, don't waste my time. You on my whole IG.
Now, Chase
you
Bank told us they
know
tried
it's
to
me.
contact
Don't waste
Moss
my
at the
time, but I feel
time
you.
with
But don't waste my
voicemails
time.
and
Are you
emails.
ready?
She
You're not.
said she
You know
never
what I
got
do, so
any of
don't end
those.
up on
But
that
some
list.
tips from Chase Bank about protecting yourself here: do not give out your ATM PIN, your passcodes to any.
And most people don't give up their ATM or password pin. It's just people figure out ways how to come up with this information and get it. People are starting to figure out how to really social engineer and get to the bag. And we'll get to the bag, meaning that they get into that method that they want to do that's going to potentially be able to generate some revenue for them in that type of way. So it's all about being more safe, being more cautious, and being more aware, and really paying attention to these banks, because the banks are supposed to be there to protect our money, keep our money safe. But the banks are almost like it's a dog eat dog world too. If you don't protect your account and know not to, they basically saying if you know not that's a scammer and know that wasn't us, then that's on you. How can you say that? You got the text messages. This is the text message that that person got from their phone. How can you say somebody is at fault when they got text messages to their phone saying this is the bank, this is all the information, you doing this, and you got scammed, and this is the results that happen, you getting scammed? How can you say that's that person's fault? So it's all about being more safe, being more cautious, and being more aware of these banks, these scammers, social media, where we got our personal information, because it's a crazy world that we living in. It's like a dark cloud starting to cover the world with just scams and fraud. So, like I tell you guys all the time, make sure you guys are getting your Norton LifeLock to monitor all your social media accounts and financial accounts to make sure no suspicious activity is going on. Make sure you guys also they monitor the dark web to make sure none of your personal information is floating around for somebody to buy. Make sure you guys are freezing your credit profiles from TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, so nobody can get anything to your name from credit cards, loans, lines of credit, cars, apartments, any of that. Make sure you guys are changing out your debit cards every so often, get new numbers and information. We tap, swipe, enter, store, order online all day, every day. And every time we do, this information is being placed on the database. And there's always a database leak, compromise, or hack that happens. And if that old information is there, it'll keep us safe because we changing up that information so often and they got the old information. So it's just all about being more safe, being more cautious, and being more aware out there in this crazy world that we live in. Because, like I said, this is all educational purposes only. If you don't, if you're not aware, you never know what's going on. You won't see what's going on. It could potentially happen to you. So it's all about being more safe, being more cautious, and being more aware. All right. So shout out to all my Real King Hussle fans, supporters, subscribers out there. Because without y'all, there be no me. Y'all motivate me to keep going. Y'all motivate me to keep dropping the sauce, and y'all motivate me to keep y'all entertained. So shout out to all of y'all. Anybody out there that's tired of being broke, because it ain't no joke, let's get to work. FaceTime 101 limited gems are $1,000, but for limited time only, I'm doing them for 600. Yes, 600 Cash App or Bitcoin payment. Once the 600 is on your Cash App or Bitcoin balance, send me a screenshot. Let me know your payment ready, and we will go from there. All right, no screenshots, no replies, no 21 questions, and please do not yell me. Also, make sure y'all booking y'all seat on the webinars Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, $250. Make sure y'all booking y'all seat on the crypto tour in person limited gyms, $3,500. Make sure y'all book your seat on the month-long mentorship, 30 days, $1,000. Anything you need help with, first 10 people, $500. Make sure y'all checking out my vendor platforms on Telegram and the Potato App Millionaire Network. Still looking for people for the production company. Make sure y'all subscribe and hit the notification bell on all my YouTube channels, Twitches, IGs, TikToks. Make sure y'all checking out the crypto world because it's changing people's lives. And with that being said, it's your boy King Hussle. Y'all know how to get down in these videos. I'll see you at the next lesson video or live. Peace.